Okay, we're doing 5.5. We're going to dividing decimals, but we're going to use a model to show that. So I hope you have your hundredths grid for fill 2 papers out. Lisa is making a reusable shopping bag. She uses 6 3/10 yards of fabric. She needs 3/10 yards fabric for each bag. How many shopping bags can she make from 3 6/10? So my problem is really I have what? I have 3 6/10, and I have to divide it into how many equal parts for each bag. 3/10. So that's really my division problem. And if you notice, I'm dividing a whole number with a fraction by a whole number and a part, and a fraction and a part of a whole. So if we're going to model that, shading it, it would be, so we have to color in 3/10. That's 1. So please be doing this so you understand what you're doing. And that's 6/10. That's all I'm supposed to have. So how many different ones did I color? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If yours was a little bit like that. So now let's see if we can answer some of these questions. When we cut apart our model, which we don't need to, we separated the tenths into how many equal 3/10 groups? Well, we made 12 groups of how many tenths? 3/10. Use the model to complete this problem. Well, we did, and we got up with a whole number of 12. So she can make 12 shopping bags. So I think we need to look at this. When we divide a decimal by a whole number and a decimal, we get a whole number. How did that work? So I'm going to just think of this as a whole number and notice what happens with the decimal. If I just think of it as a whole number, I had 12, but notice what happened. Where did my decimal go? It went to the end. Why? I don't know. Explain why you made each equal group equal to the divisor. Well, I made it because I knew I had to have 3/10 to make one equal part for that bag. So does that pattern continue when you do 2 7/10 divided by 9/10? Will we get a whole number? Well, if I shade that, so go ahead and shade those off. Okay, I hope you're back. And I think if you do that, you get a 4. You got 4 whole ones you could make, or 3 whole ones what you could make with it, because 9 times 3 goes into 27. But notice again, my decimal moved way here. Well, it was here. How did it get here? Talk to your partner and see if you're seeing any reason why it would move there. All right, let's move on to the next page. And if we would cut these apart, and we're not going to cut them apart, but if we have, let's say we have a whole number and a hundredth, so I have $1.75 in nickels, and if I divide it by a hundredth, which is 25 cents, how many piles can we make? So there are how many ones? There are 1 ones and 75 hundredths. So when you cut those apart, if we cut these apart, well, I know that there are how many? 4 in a whole, and that means we have 3 left here because we're short 1 2500ths. So there are 7 groups of 2500ths. So our answer is 7. So let's write that as a division problem and just look at it. And if I divide that equally without even thinking about my decimals, I got an answer of 7 because it can't go in there and can't go in there. This time my decimal moved 2 spots to get over here. Oh, did your pattern work? So is what I want you to do is I want you to look at these, think about where the decimal is moving, even write them on your paper as a whole number, divide them because it's a 4. Boy, my decimal was here, it was here, how did it move out here? See if you can figure out what's going on. So do those, please. On this page, I would like you to do the top 3. And then let's look at this one right here, these two, because it's an algebraic problem. So we're solving for n. So this kind of tells you if I have 3 groups, how many, I had all this together, how many did I divide into each group? Well, all I really have to do is count how many tenths are in here, and it's 8. But now let's think of them as a whole problem. 24 divided by 3 or equals 3 quotient, what? 8. 28. Now would it be, I need to make sure it says 8 tenths because these are not whole 8s, they're 8 tenths. Here, to figure this out, I could have done this, put 32 in each group, put 4 groups. Now how many do I have all together? Well, I got 4 groups, and there's how many in each group? 30. 4 times 30 is 120 hundredths. And then I had 2 extra hundreds, so 2, 4, 6, 8. Add 8 onto that, so I have 128. So what did I divide this by? How many did I have all together? 1 whole and 28 hundredths. Because you have to count 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6. You have 3, 6, 9, and 1 more of these. That would make a whole one. Okay? So then let's skip those parts and let's just go on, and we'll come back and do this one if we can. Let's look at these and do evens on this page, please. And do all of these and do 1 or 2 of these and all of these. If you have time, go back to these. If at any time you think you have it figured out what that moving of the decimal is like because of the pictures and why you moved it where it ended up and how we got a whole number, please call me over and let's see if we have made a discovery.